everybody, thank you for joining us today for our Scrapbooking with Me Boutique members video. Our technique today is going to be with looking at coloring and using your alcohol-based markers, and for this we're going to look at Spectrum Noirs. But first I want to show you some of the different inks that I used on the paper here. We have the VersaFine, the Memento Lux, we have the My Favorite Things Hybrid, and we're going to go through each one showing you how it reacts with the Spectrum markers. But before I do that, I just wanted to talk briefly about the markers themselves. They're set up to work in threes, okay, where you would have your light, medium, and dark. On the one end, we have the wider, like the chiseled point, and then on the other side we have what's, I guess, more like the felt point, the smaller, you know, where you can get more details, stuff like that. It's very similar to Copics. It does the same thing. You have the chiseled end where you can color in large areas, and then where the little bit of gray is on the one tip, it's more like a brush marker for the Copics. It's softer and it's more of a point, whereas with the Spectrums, it's more rounded and it's harder. So for this purpose, I'm using 3 different colors of these, the vibrant pinks. And my initial thought was, you know, what a lot of people would think is just grab your 3 colors. So I grabbed BP3, BP4, and BP5. And how the method normally works is you put down your lightest color, then your medium, and then your darkest color. And then once you lay down the color, you're supposed to go backwards. So then you would lay down your medium, and then go over the entire thing with your lightest color. And that is supposed to help blend all the colors and give you a shadow where you would need the shadow, and then, you know, have everything blended in smoother. And I'm trying to hold it up and get some of the glare off because I wanted you to be able to see the shading, and I was trying to use like a bright color to help, but I'm going to do it one more time. And this time, instead of using the straight align numbers, which is the B3, you know, the BP3, BP4, and BP5, I take away 5 and put in BP7. And BP7, it's a little bit darker, but to me, it blended in just a little bit better than BP5. I kind of like the smoothness of it and how everything blended so well together. So if I were to do these 3 colors, I probably would skip the 5 and go to 7. And that's what test sheets do too. Play with your markers. See how they blend together. If you get a color that doesn't quite blend well, I'm going to show you at the end a tip or a trick that I've seen other people use on YouTube that helps blend those 3 colors. See? These are the 3 blues that I had, and you can see that the one at the very top, it's more of a tealy blue than the other 2 colors. So you would think, you know, right across the line, 6, 7, and 8, that these things would blend really well, and you can see that that's not the case. So I was just showing you the back there to show you that your paper will get saturated, okay? Don't worry about it. It's just means that you're getting your blend good. So I'm showing you the STAYS-ON. This is an archival ink, and STAYS-ON is really good for plastic. You can use it with markers, but you're going to see when I go over the line, and when I hold it up for you, it's going to look like the black ink is spreading a little bit. It's not a horrible, like, oh my god, it's spreading the black ink all throughout your coloring, but it loses its crispness. Now, I'll show you in a little bit how that this actually works. STAYS-ON works really well with watercolor. But I just want to do my 3 colors, trying to just show you you know, how it would look after those 3 colors. See how it's not sharp? It almost looks like it turns the ink line to like a blue line. Yeah, not good. I don't like that. You know, when you want to do like coloring techniques and markers and stuff, you want colors that are going to stay crisp and, you know. And why did I just lose my brain of thought right there? My train of thought just gone. Okay, so we're doing our second one. This one is the Ranger Archival ink. This is the one that I would say people use mostly for watercolor. Because once again, look at what happens when the marker hits that ink. I'm not trying to stay in the lines. I'm just trying to show you how this marker, this alcohol-based marker, is affecting the different inks that you use. Okay. My favorite thing, oh no, I'm still on this one. I think the main thing with the Ranger Archival ink, oh, this is when I do it. I get my Kataki watercolors and I just grab a quick water brush, and I'm going to show you by covering up a section with this watercolor paint how the ink looks beautiful. It's still a crisp black. There's no traveling of the ink. It's still crisp. Beautiful. I didn't use a whole lot of water on the watercolor side, only because this isn't watercolor paper, so I don't want it to deteriorate or mess up. But it's very important that you use the right inks for the project at hand. So right here, this is a My Favorite Thing hybrid inks. Hybrid inks are amazing. And they're amazing because they allow you to do multiple techniques with one ink. A long time ago, not too long ago actually, it was you had one ink for watercolor, one ink for markers, one ink for colored pencils, and one ink for this and one ink for that. And with the invention of these hybrid inks that they have now, it allows you to do more projects with one ink. Okay, and with the hybrid, the black still stays crisp because it works well with the markers, and it's going to work well with the watercolor. So I always tend to go for my hybrid ink when I'm doing markers or watercolor, because you're safe and it dries quickly. Just trying to show you real quick. Alright, so on our next page here, we have VersaFine pigment ink, and then we also have the Memento Lux. So first we're going to do the VersaFine. VersaFine is, like I said, a pigment ink. So when alcohol markers hit it, it bleeds. Okay, now the benefit with this one right here is that it's sat for a period of time, so the amount of bleeding that we have is minimum than if we had, you know, stamped it right away and just started going over it with the marker. The Memento Lux, I decided, because I saw it was doing it a little bit with the VersaFine, to go ahead and show you fully on this one. Because this is doing exactly what I'm talking about. When it hits with the marker and immediately the black is spreading almost like it's been hit with water. Now with the little bit of the watercolor that I put on the other ones, you can see here that the pigment inks are really work well with the watercolor as well. They're not really great for alcohol-based markers, except for when you use your VersaFine ink and you use clear embossing powder. Okay, when you do that with the clear embossing powder, then that will stop it from spreading and, you know, doing anything wonky with the markers. You just have to, you know, color in the lines. It makes the lines a little bit thicker for you to be able to do that. Okay, so I don't know if that makes sense at all, but if you're going to begin your coloring and you're trying to figure out what to work with, I think it's important to get the right base in order to be able to do the markering on top. Now real quick, I just want to show you this is called a flick method, where your tip of your brush or your marker is just slightly hitting the paper and then flicking outward, okay? And it's a method or a technique that you just have to kind of practice with. You'll see a lot of people use it when they're doing like characters or girls or boys stamps, and they're doing their hair, so you can see like highlights and lowlights and all that kind of good stuff. And then you layer. So I did the one color, and then I just flicked the other color on top of that, and then my third color I'm going on top of that. And when you do it, it also creates a blended look, and you can still get different shades, different highlights and shadows and stuff. And sometimes it just takes practice playing and using these mediums over and over and over again. And it's really important not to be afraid. If you're wanting to do it, but you're just, you're not sure how everything's going to turn out, you just got to try. Okay? Now, on this one, I'm going to show you real quick, as best I can, the tip-to-tip technique. What you usually do is take your lightest marker, you take your tip and you tap it on that, and then blend in on the page itself, right in the middle with the two colors. So that way what you're doing is you're taking some of the other color, putting it on the one that's, the lightest one that may not, fully mesh with the other color, and you're creating a blend of the two, okay? And you can see here, because the one marker is very similar to the middle. So once I add that on and go over it just a little bit, those two blend really easily. And with the little bit of work that we did, it's not a very harsh line there. And if we kept working on it, going backwards and forth, we could really make that less prominent, okay? So I hope this makes sense to everybody. If there's anything that you didn't understand, or if it brought up more questions, just leave a comment or a question down below, and I'll be more than happy to try and answer it for you as best I can. Okay? Thank you so much for joining me. On our next project, what we'll do, kind of following the color idea, is maybe look at using the Spectrum Noirs to color characters, or like the dolls, or flowers, whichever it is. We're gonna just continue on this lesson, okay? So we'll see you guys with our next video.